Good evening. Welcome to SL Tonight presents Goofballs, Bumps for the Umps, a public domain story. It was a bright spring morning, but for Mr. Bogus the day ahead seemed dismal because he had not yet devised his customary daily scheme for outwitting his fellow men. What device or trick can I conceive today? He said to himself. Where'll be I will profit with the least amount of effort on my part. Mr. Bogus was at a loss for a workable plan, and rather than allow the entire day to waste away, he decided to treat himself to the diversion of a baseball game at Abbott's Field. The stadium was jammed and both teams were warming up on the field. This was a big day for the home team, the Midgets. They used to be the Giants before they developed an inferiority complex. If they won their next two games, they'd get a chance in the World Series. The visiting team was the No Sox. They were very poor. The fans in the stadium were cheering wildly for the home team, and woe he unto him, the umpire, who would dare to call a close play in favor of the visitors. Bogus, resigned to his fate of spending the day like any normal human being, was thoroughly enjoying the game from the bleachers. The seventh inning had just begun, and the heat of the day having parched his throat, Bogus decided to relieve his thirst. The soda pop man was just walking by shouting, "Burpola, 10 cents a bottle." Bogus took a bottle and handed the man 10 cents. "That'll be 10 cents more, Buster," the man said. "10 cents," replied Bogus. "What for?" "It's for the bottle," said the pop vendor. "And when you finish the soda, you give me back the bottle and I'll return your 2 cents. Of course, the situation wasn't pleasing Mr. Bogus. As this was his day off from scheming, he felt he should enjoy a holiday if he being mistrusted as well. So he turned to the Burpola man and said, "Don't you trust me?" Overlooking the significance of such a statement coming from Bogus, the man replied, "It ain't that I don't trust you, Buster. It's just that the umpires, sometimes they don't get along too well with the fans in the stadium." "Well, what have the umpires and the fans got to do with my 2 cents?" asked Bogus. "Oh, brother, is this guy a hayseed?" the man mumbled. "Look," he said, "every now and then the fans in the bleachers get a feeling that the umpire ain't doing his job, right? And they got only one way to let him know about it. They take my Burpola bottles and throw 'em at the bump. So now give 'em 2 cents. Give me the 2 cents." Bogus still didn't understand, but he handed over the 2 cents anyway. Down on the field, the home team was up to bat. It was the last half of the inning with 2 outs, bases loaded, and 2 strikes on the batter. The pitcher wound up and tossed the ball across the plate. Batter didn't budge. "Strike three!" called the umpire. The crowd in the bleachers went wild. Shouts of "Mario the Bum" were heard, and then suddenly, as though a given signal, an avalanche of Burpola bottles went sailing out of the bleachers in the direction of the umpire. There must have been 2,000 or 3,000 Burpola bottles on the field, but the umpire was prepared for the attack. He escaped with only a few minor bumps and fractures about his head. When Bogus saw the murderous bottle barrage, he immediately multiplied it by 2 cents. The result came to quite a sum of money. "At last," Bogus cackled to himself, "I have found a new scheme for profit. I will work out the method tonight. Tomorrow I shall return and put my plan into operation." Bogus, overcome with joy for his newfound plan, left the stadium before the game was over to make immediate preparations for the following day. On his way home, he passed the school grounds where a gang of boys were playing. "Young man," he called the leader, "would you and your friends be interested in earning a few dollars tomorrow?" "Sure, mister," the boy said. What do we do? What are we going to do?" "Simple," replied Bogus, and he told him his plan. They were to meet him on the ball field when tomorrow's game was over. Then they were to pick up all the empty bottles that were thrown at the umpire, and Bogus promised them a penny for each bottle. Bogus rested easily that night, dreaming of how clever he was to have devised such a plan. The boys would do all the work, collecting the bottles for a penny apiece. Then he would turn them all over to the soda pop man and collect 2 cents for each bottle. With 2,000 or 3,000 bottles, Bogus thought, he should come away with a good day's profit. The next day, the bleachers at Abbott's Field were even more crowded than the day before. The fans showed up by the thousands to see the final game and cheer the home team on to victory. And Bogus was there too, waiting for that precious moment when all those pop bottles would be tossed out of the bleachers at the umpire. Both teams kept each other from scoring for the first 8 innings. Now, it was the last half of the ninth. This time, the visiting scam was at hand. Oh, again, there were 2 outs and bases were loaded. The fans were nervous. If the visiting team got a hit, the home team would lose. Bogus was beginning to worry too. Nobody got sore at the umpire. A hush came over the bleachers as the pitcher wound up. Now came the pitch. Ball 4, shouted the umpire. The home team had lost the game. The fans went wild. Never in the history of baseball was one umpire the target of so many pop bottles. All the ball players were knee-deep in bottles all over the playing field. Bogus was jumping for joy. In his wildest dreams, he couldn't imagine he had to do so well on his first day with his new scheme. He saw visions of becoming a millionaire at the World Series. The game was over, and Bogus rushed onto the baseball field to wait for the boys he had hired to pick the bottles. There were 11,672 pop bottles altogether. Good work, boys, said Bogus. Now you wait here and I'll bring you your money. At a penny apiece, you've earned over $100. But Bogus didn't have to leave at all because the soda pop man was just passing. Hey, what you doing with all these bottles? Inquired the soda pop man. Then Bogus, quite proud of his resourcefulness, informed the man that he was returning the 11,672 bottles for a refund at 2 cents each, which makes a grand total of $233.44. What are you, crazy or something? Said the soda pop man. I stopped using the refund bottles from Ropola. It was too much trouble. I'm selling soda pop and no deposit bottles now. Them bottles you got there is worth it. Hey, mister, yelled the leader of the boys. What are you going to pay us for collecting these bottles? Bogus, still not fully recovered from the shock, replied, You heard what the man said. Then you'd better decide to become an umpire, mister, because we're going to give you some practice right now. These were the last words Bogus heard that day as 11,672 no-deposit pop bottles came flying. Yeah. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens when you try to get rich off of other people's anger. And the company changes the rules the second you figure out how to work. Well, if you enjoyed that story, by all means, comment, like, subscribe. Before we go, we have the Goofballs in the Big Brush Off. Now look, we're gonna ask for jobs as house painters, so act like you know something about painting a house. Yes, I can use an extra crew of house painters. You men are hired, and I have a house that needs painting right away. Oh boy, the owner of this house is on a vacation, and he wants it painted before he returns. Here's the address, 195 Elm Street. 196 Elm Street, 196 Elm Street, 196 Elm Street. That's 196. Now get your 4 cans of white paint from the storeroom. Then go out to 196 Elm Street and paint that house. What's paint remover? Grab those white paint cans and let's go. There must be a guy who steals paint. Mr. Angelo must have had a lot of paint stolen lately. Yeah, he's even got signs on the paint cans warning us about the paint remover that's been stealing his paint. Meanwhile, imagine you, my own husband, owner of a paint company, and I had to wait 10 years to have our house painted. Yes, dear, but there's been so much business that I could spare the men until last week. Meanwhile, our house looks simply beautiful now that it's painted white. What an awful color it was before. Ugh, those horrible purple walls and those awful pink shutters. I agree, I couldn't stand looking at those putrid colors for another day. Well, here we are on Elm Street. Where's that piece of paper Mr. Angelo wrote the address on? Here it is, we got to number 961. But this says 196. You're holding it upside down. 961, see? Yeah, you're right, 961. Okay, 961, let's get going. Should be on the next block. This is the place. Larry, you put the ladder up by the side of the house. Shemp, you carry the paint ends up to the roof. We'll paint from the top down. Hey, watch that paint. It's spilling. Whoops! Idiot. Now we'll have to work fast before that spilled paint dries. Swoosh! I thought we were supposed to paint this house white. It's coming out purple. Sure is funny we're using the paint from the white cans, but the shutters are coming out pink. This is the craziest white paint I've ever seen. Scratch, scratch, scratch. And still, later, well, it didn't come out white, but it looks pretty. I bet you Mr. Angelo is going to give us a raise for doing such a good job. Must be valuable paint. We painted both of those colors out of the same can. No wonder Mr. Angelo was afraid someone would steal it. Tom, our house! Look! Good grief! I told them to paint the house at 196 Elm Street. How did they get here? Paint remover? They ruined our beautiful white house. Now I'll have to look at those ugly purple walls and horrible pink shutters for another 10 years. Idiots! Morons! You've ruined my $50,000 home. I'll have to send you up for 10 years. I'll use my influence with the governor. I'll donk. Please, Mr. Angelo, please, give us another chance. We're really good painters. We'll do anything. Anything. Another chance, Painters, eh? Do anything. Okay, men. One more chance. Gee, what a guy. A real pal. Yes, sir, I always give good painters another chance. And when you reach Chicago, I'll arrange it with the governor of Illinois to let you paint the road to Los Angeles. It looks like the Goofballs will be busy painting for a good long stretch, but they'll be finished in time to give you another chuckle in the next Laugh Pack video. This has been SL Tonight. Good night.